Welcome to interesting Reddit posts from AskReddit. What piece of common knowledge did you learn about embarrassingly late in life? Asked by Queen Moogle. Corals are animals, not plants. Oh, what? Corals are animals, not plants? I didn't know gorillas existed till I was like 25. I always thought it was just in the movies. A friend of mine had never heard of platypuses until her 40s. R.I.P. Harambe, the world's very first gorilla. When I cry, I used to think magically everything would be more easier for me, or at least I would be one step near the solution, or some miracle would happen and my problem in life would diminish the next day or something. I know this never happens, we just cry and that's it. But even in my late teenage years, for some reason I used to believe this delusional reason. It's dumb, I know, but I wanted hope. From where I decay, but a hope regardless. I wish the universe would empathize over my crying and fix me. Or else it's just a stream of water drops leaking out of her eye. I decay. Sorry for the bad explanation. I am really bad at expressing myself. Man, that's sad. Spit out your toothpaste when you're done brushing your teeth. Don't just swallow it. Mid-20s. I was at a cookout making up some hamburgers. I had the buns on the plate. I took off the top bun and, as I had been doing literally my whole life for whatever reason, I turned the top of the bun over as I set it down next to the bottom bun. A friend of mine came up and we were chatting. I mentioned how half the time I make a burger I screw up and end up putting the bottom half of the bun on top, because I can't tell the bottom from the top. And indeed, looking at my plate with the bottom bun and the top bun upside down, you couldn't tell the difference. She looked at me like she wasn't sure if I was serious. Then without a word she lifted the top bun off another set of buns, moved it over, and set it back down next to the bottom bun without turning it over, making it obvious which one was the top bun. I was blown away, son. 2 + 2 = 4. -1. That's 3. Quick maths. Everyday mock entries on the blog. Took until my 4th year of high school, in which I'd been wearing a tie for 4 years, to learn how to tie a tie. I just got someone to tie it originally and then just loosened it to pull it off over my head. Still in the loosen and overhead habit even though I know how to tie a tie now. Still not very good at tying to the perfect length, though. Not me personally, but a girl in my class at school found out age 16 that the moon and the sun aren't the same thing. She thought it was one thing called the sun during the day and the moon at night. My mom was like 34 when she realized the moon could be out during the day too, when I pointed it out to her at the age of 7. Not me but my friend. She didn't understand how people on the lower half of Earth lived there without falling off of the Earth. At the time she was 25-ish, had already completed a bachelor's in science, and was in her master's in CS program with me. I died a little inside. Hold on, you're saying Aussies don't need to wear their ground harnesses to stay on Earth? I thought they have Velcro feet. 2 things. First, I grew up watching Grease 2 and was surprised that there was a Grease 1 movie. I was like 16. Second, women wipe when they pee. I learned when I was like 23 that guys don't wipe. I used to wipe the tip just in case there was any extra drops. Then I learned how to shake. If you jump after eating, you don't get appendicitis. I was told by my grandma since I was a kid to not jump after eating as the rice grain can go into my appendix and result in appendicitis. Asked this question in nursing school and my teacher just laughed and said no. Also, half of the class also believed this, so it wasn't just me. What are grandmoms teaching them kids these days? I can't hear or pronounce the difference between th and f. It really frustrates my dreams. Hearing other kids singing school carols about Mary and Joseph riding to Bethlehem really pissed me off. Joseph, dithyrambics. Growing up, I learned most of my words through reading. I would pronounce them the way they looked, and over the years I keep discovering words I've been mispronouncing for years. Most of these words, I didn't realize I was pronouncing them wrong until I was around 18-20. Some examples: I would pronounce worm to rhyme with dorm, as opposed to worm. I would pronounce disheveled as disheveled, as opposed to pronouncing the sh sound. I would pronounce women and woman the same, etc. That pickles come from cucumbers. I learned about it when I was 22. I learned this now. I learned this in late teenagehood, hahaha. I was the first one to tell my husband this. Haha. He was 24. You are not alone. I also learned this embarrassingly late. I worked with a Bosnian guy who spoke very little English. There was a cucumber he called and he kept asking me about raw pickle. It took me a long time to figure out what in the hell he was talking about, but I realized that he wasn't wrong. I still barely know the calendar by heart and have to sing the ABC song to find the position of a letter I need to find something. I used to work in an elementary school library. When the librarian would teach kids how the library was organized, she'd always tell them it was okay to sing the alphabet song in their heads because she did it too. I am currently studying to get my library degree. I also sing the alphabet song every goddamn time. I am so glad I am not alone on this one. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. This shows me that I should make more. Do you have any suggestions for new topics? Leave it as a comment down below. Bless.